You got the intro today?
Yeah, I suppose I could do it.
But mommy, I don't want to buy a Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 for a third of the price of an R34 Skyline. It's already here in America, and you can kind of get parts for it. And you know, the engine is sideways, the transmission doesn't face the back, and I just don't even want to try.
He didn't even try.
Today's video is for the 3000 GT VR4 enthusiast, or the one who maybe just got into one and doesn't know how to maintain it. I'm going to show you that a 3000 GT VR4 is just another car, and as long as you have patience and maybe small hands, which I don't, that this car shouldn't really be anything to be afraid of. Going up. In case we got some noobs out there, my rear jack point was the rear diff. And for the front, right in the middle, underneath the front bumper, there's this cross member here that I use to jack on the front. Not saying any of this is right, but that's what I did. The jack stands are currently on the pinch welds. Go ahead and hate me. Also, since we're gonna be doing just about every fluid on this thing, I tried to get the car as level as possible. We got here. Okay, totally non-scientific here. We got an 18-inch Avid One AV06 and a raised TE37. Let's weigh them and see what they weigh. This one's on a 245, 45, 18. This one's rocking a 265, 35, 19. Roll the Avid One on here. I have to balance it a little bit. Coming in about 47.6. And the TE37. No way. 47.6. And just so you guys know the scale's working, I'm coming in at my usual sub 200, 193, 194. According to the back of the raise, they're 19 by 9.5. I think maybe that's a 44 offset. I don't know if that's right. TE37 Ultra, if anyone cared. All right, where were we? So in the intro video for this car, I talked about how crappy the suspension was, these tine coilovers. That might be part of the reason why. The rears are a little bit better, but those lock rings are not tight, so hopefully my old spanner wrenches will fit that. Megan Racing, coming through in the clutch, the old Eclipse spanner wrenches. So lesson learned, if your suspension sucks when you get a new car, check it. As far as preload on the spring, I don't know if this is necessarily right. I've always kept mine so you can just rotate them. And then make sure those lock rings are tight, guys. Obviously not an issue with stock suspensions, but with coilovers, keep an eye on them. Okay, all you cool cats and kittens, we'll start in the rear here. Looks like we got about a 24mm fill and drain plug. We'll do the fill plug first on everything, because if you can't get the fill plug off and you take the drain plug off first, you got a problem. Took a little extra sauce with a breaker bar, but I got the fill plug loose at least. Sue me, I'm getting old. So bad. Let her flow. There you go. Not too shabby. Here is the drain plug, if any of you wanted to judge it. There is some shavings on there, but it's nothing too bad. For the rear diff fluid, I'm just using the stock Mitsubishi stuff, SAE 90, I guess. I'll leave links in the description to everything I used today for fluids, and then I'll put a little chart up of what the capacities are. Obviously, if you're a first timer, you just fill the rear diff and like the transfer case and the manual trans until the fill plug starts to overflow. You are gonna like it! Drain plug going back in. Torque setting is whatever makes you happy. Coming on a little bit. We'll head to the transfer case next. Okay, for the transfer case, just off the driver's side cat, you've got a 17mm fill plug. Sorry, I know it's dark. Right up in there. 17mm drain plug on the bottom. Same fluid as the rear diff. Come here, you little shit. Okay, transmission is next. 17mm drain plug right here. Passenger side fender. Fill plug. Come all the way up here. Let's see. Right there. Excited to see what this looks like, actually. That looks pretty good. Nice work on that plastic placement, Mitsubishi. A couple metal shavings on the drain plug. Nothing crazy. Tranny fluid, I'm just using the Mitsubishi MT75 W85. I was considering going redline on all this, but given the low miles, I thought I'd stick to the OEM stuff. Drain plug, where are you? I don't think you guys need me to go into detail on the oil for you. It's a 17mm drain plug. Filter's right in front of it. Oh, slut. Ooh. Well, a little bit black there. Finally found something that needed to be changed. Getting kind of discouraged here. I just feel like I'm wasting my time.
You know, how's that song go?
I don't know.
When I stick it in ya.
Whoa, profanity, huh?
I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, just time to run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Time to run it on.
Kind of an uneventful tune-up. I think this car has actually been maintained pretty well. I'm gonna pull out the front 3 spark plugs quick, take a look at them, see how they look. Fingers crossed they look decent. The back 3, you do have to take the intake manifold off, which is a little bit involved. You know, you're gonna have to remove the intercooler piping, probably the fuel rails, throttle body, so fingers crossed for me. 16 mil if you're new to this. All right, we've got an iridium powered Denso IK20. Denso. Honestly, they don't look bad. I'm gonna pull the other 2, but probably leave these for the time being. Plug 2. Also looks good. I don't have a gap checker here, just going off site. Well, they all match, and they all look pretty good. So I'm gonna let those back 3 be for the time being. All right, let's see what's going on with the coolant here next. Okay, everybody. Might be a little bit hard to see, but behind the intercooler on the driver's side is the petcock for draining the radiator. Gonna get messy in here. Fluid's looking pretty clean though. Coolant of choice is just gonna be some OEM green stuff, extended life, 50-50 with distilled water. We'll have to run it through a couple of heat cycles when we're finished to get the air out, of course. Okay, we'll bleed the brakes next, get some new fluid in there. Looks like I got some upgraded lines. This is actually my first set of like Brembo style. I know these aren't Brembo brakes, but I've ever had on a car. Everything's pretty much the same, pads look good. Still got a bleeder valve in back, no big deal. Everything's just a little bit bigger than the normal caliper. Brake master cylinder is just in the back on the driver's side. Let's see what we got in here. Dot 3 is the fluid. Might be a little bit low, actually, but it doesn't look too bad. A little golden if you can see it in there, but I mean, not bad at all. Fluid of choice is just going to be the Mitsubishi factory stuff. Dot 3 is what it calls for. Okay, I'm currently waiting on help for pumping the brakes. I can't do it by myself, so I've got this topped off with good fluid for right now, so we're good to go there. The clutch slave or master or whatever you want to call it is right back here. Honestly, you know, judging by the other fluids and the overall condition of this car, I'm probably going to let this one slide. The bleeder is buried down here on top of the transmission. I know you're not going to be able to see it, but I would have to remove this strut tower brace, all the intake piping, the battery, and I just don't think it's going to be worth it. But if you're doing this and you're upset that I didn't, just know you're probably going to have to take off your driver's side intake piping, and then you should have access to it. I'll see if I can get a shot of it for you. All right, here we go. Right down here, you've got the slave going into the clutch, and if you follow that rubber boot, right in front of that is going to be your bleeder valve. So again, on this car, for me to get my hand down there, I'm going to have to pull all this and the strut tower. I just don't think it's worth my time. You know, if the fluid was really bad in other areas of the car, I'd probably go after it. But I'm going to go ahead and chance it on this because time is money. The fluid for the clutch is just regular old Dot 3. I mean, this stuff is a little bit brown. I guess you could maybe make the argument to do it, but I'm just gonna clear out what's in the slave, get some new stuff in there, and for now, I'm gonna call it good. Again, just using the stock Mitsu stuff here. Got it. All clean. I'll let that circulate a few weeks, flush it a couple times, should be good to go. Look who it is!
My man!
Here to help me bleed brakes.
Yours is like opposite of mine. Mine is all powder coated black, obviously red car.
Right.
Yours powder coated red.
Yeah, that's why I bought it. That's why I bought it.
Yeah, and then dude, same with your calipers.
I'm reverse flash.
Yes, and I'm flash.
Alright, lefty. Pump it.
Oh man.
Okay, finally we got the power steering left. So we use the turkey baster thing, suck the old power steering fluid out, put the new stuff in, start the car, turn the wheels left and right, make sure there's no air in the system. Do that 2 or 3 times and we should be good. See how bad the old stuff looks. Oh wow, it's actually really good. Okay, the fluid for this one is just an ATF III, so I'm using Valvoline. I don't think it really matters what you use. Then to check the level, you just put the cap back on, and there's a little gauge kind of in the middle there for high and low. So just check that out before you move on. Now I think that is every fluid on the 3000 GT. So I'm gonna button it back up. Obviously run the car for a little bit, get the heat in it, get the bubbles out of the cooling system, keep topping it off, make sure there aren't any leaks. And then I did drop the coilovers about 1 inch in the back, so we'll have a little bit of new stance. Obviously, you know, got an alignment coming down the road. But I think it's time to finally get her down.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I've been on the flex.
Just waiting for all the air bubbles to get out of the coolant. Right now all the pressures are good. I got the heat on full blast, so it's running through the heater core. Running about 42 psi of oil. We're at 113 temp. Those are the only ones that really matter right now. Check for leaks quick. All dry so far. Take a look at the stands quick. Still a little bit high up front. Almost looks worse now. You got like 2 fingers up there. And then the rear, you got a little additional camber now. Getting close. Getting close to the right spot though. All right, let's see how that suspension feels. Sunset. Sorry guys, I know it's getting dark. Just wanted to give you a walk around quick. I will fix the stance, I promise. Suspension is 100 times better. Go figure. Currently on one of the stiffer settings too. All right, last pull. That was terrible. Now you know how to change every fluid in a 3000 GT VR4. Bye.